Joseph with me. How are you?
I'm doing good for this Thursday afternoon. I'm ready for Friday, ready for the weekend. I'm excited. Just finished with an amazing Twitter chat about test prep and test stress because we're all going through it. Our students are going through it. So this was more student centered rather than teacher centered. But I really enjoyed it. My
Well, I
thumbs
tell
are
you,
hurting because I was really like trying to comment as much as possible.
oh my God, it was a great chat. You did so well. You hosted an amazing mastery chat
Thank
tonight.
you.
Would you mind kind of telling our listeners, in case they aren't fully connected to everything going on that you are involved in, a little about yourself and then maybe what the topic was for mastery chat tonight?
Yes, so I am P. Sloan Joseph. I am the instructional technologist at Greer Middle School located in Greer, South Carolina, and that's with the Greenville County School District. I have done a little bit of everything in education from classroom teacher to principal to testing coordinator. And I just do whatever is necessary to help kids like really enjoy school, to learn, to be successful, to be confident and competent. I have a podcast that's called Greater is in Me, and it's all about my life as a mother, as a wife, as an educator, and how those worlds collide into something really, really beautiful. And so I try to use a little bit of humor and a lot of my lessons and mistakes to help myself continue to grow and other people continue to grow. I'm a part of the Speakers Network with the Teach Better team. And so I'm so excited about that new opportunity. And then I spend a lot of time presenting at schools and at conferences, just sharing what I know so that I can impact kids, beyond where I am in Greer. My goal is to impact education in a huge way. And so when I go to these conferences, I have a chance to impact people and students that I'll never ever meet. But I think that's so powerful. So that's what I do.
Oh my gosh, it is so tricky to keep up with all that you're doing because you seem to be everywhere all the time, always helping a teacher. Like, I feel like every time I interact with you, you're mentoring someone on Twitter or talking through an issue
Right.
on the podcast. You're just constantly so helpful and wonderful to connect with.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have a passion for it, and people are like, you're like everywhere. You're doing Ed Camp Greenville. You're doing a podcast. You're doing a blog. I space it out. My schedule is super busy, but I space it out. I have a supportive husband who's also an educator. My family is super supportive, and I have a lot of great coworkers and friends that are educators and non-educators that keep asking me to do, to telling me that I'm doing some great things and that I'm impacting people, like I said, that I'll never meet. So that means a lot to me, because education is like the foundation for everybody that's successful. Everybody goes through the education system. We are the foundation of every other profession. And so I think that I just love being able to impact so many different areas in the world.
Ugh, and I love what you do. So I know our team is a huge fan. So when it came to Mastery Chat tonight
Yes.
and you choosing your topic and trying to choose kind of what you wanted to focus on, why'd you choose this topic for our Thursday night Mastery Chat?
We're in testing season. That's the reality of it. And as you know, some people talked about on the chat, it's one guy, I don't know what his name is because so many people are on, and I want to thank everybody. I know folks are tired. It's the end of the week. You're ready to go to bed, but it just meant so much to me that people made a point to come on at 8 o'clock and ride with me until 9. So I just want to stop and say that. But this one guy was on there and he was saying it's complicated. Like, we're in this system where the test, it is, I mean, that's the diet that we've been given, and so we have to prepare our kids for their current reality. But the current reality is that it's stressful, and the reality is that we have to get them prepared for this test, whether we like the test, whether we think it's equitable or not. Until something else comes along that fits the bill, we have to prepare our kids for the current reality. So the better we prepare them, the more confident they are, the more competent they are. When we talk to them about, not being stressed, this is just one data point, one day, one indicator, and just loving on our kids. I think they walk in and they do a lot better. So I just wanted to address that there is test prep, but there's also test stress. So you can't address one without the other. If you address stress without preparing them for the test, That's no good. And then if you're doing test prep, but you're not addressing how it affects our children mentally and emotionally, we got to be able to do both. So I want to just address it holistically.
Absolutely. So, was there any question that you asked that you were excited to either see the answers that came from it, or maybe you like were a little anxious? You thought that this might get under people's skin. Was there any like favorite question?
Well, there were two things. One was the pep rallies. I know people are like do pep rallies all the time, so it was interesting to see how people felt about pep rallies. And does it really influence kids? Does it get them pumped up? Does it get them excited? And some people felt like, yeah, if it's done a particular way, it does get them excited. But then other people were like, no, it causes them anxiety. It just focuses more on the test. And so just trying to, I was really excited to see different people's perspectives. And I think that may be, based on where you're from, the culture at your school, the grade level, like all of those things. So that was interesting. And the other thing is actually somebody locally was talking about, so in our district, we have to cover up or take down any materials that may help the students. And so I have my own philosophy about that. But it is what it is. Those are the rules. And so it's not, I believe that students should be able to use resources, but not to the point that I'm willing to lose my job or to violate testing, have a testing violation. So one of the ladies that was on there, she was talking about how she doesn't take things down, but she covers them up and puts up like quotes and inspiring words and, things like that. That's not going to help them on the test, but it'll just, help refocus them and help them feel more confident about what they're going through. Maybe that will help them not be as stressed. So that's one thing that I'm definitely going to take back. Like, can we put up like some inspirational things rather than taking things down? I mean, we're going to cover it up with butcher paper and stuff like that, but what can we do to just give our kids a little bit more peace, a little bit more calm in the midst of it? So that's like one of the big things I'm going to ask tomorrow. Can we do that? And then something else that was interesting to me is the answer to how do people get parents involved? And people were talking about having like family showing like sample questions that are able to be released to the families, giving them an idea so that they can kind of see this is what your child is going to go through. And because sometimes, yes, your child is testing, but you've not been in that seat in a while. So it's like, you're going to be okay. Like, come in, sit down, read this passage, go through this so that you can really see what your child is going through. So that's another idea that I'm going to take back to my school, that we have a family night where parents can really get engaged with the subject areas that their children are going to be tested in.
There were so many ideas shared. Those are really great ones. I saw like 35 others. So if you are listening to our live session right now, I can tell you that question you're going to go back to, because there were so many ideas just like that to set up the culture and the preparation for that entire experience to go well for students. So that's super valuable.
Right.
So I have to ask you, if somebody popped into the chat, what did you want them to like walk away with? What was the takeaway you wanted them to grasp from this chat topic?
I am of the belief that when students are confident, they're competent. Like, if they are in a safe environment to make mistakes, I think a lot of people are calling it safe learning, academically safe learning environments. That's like the key word. I think that if you're using the language that's on the test, if you're using the type of questions that are on the test, all of those things are going to make those kids feel like, I got this. You can tell them all day, you got this, you got this. And then they get on the test and it's words on there they've never seen and question structures that they've never seen before. And they're like, I don't have this. I don't have this at all. Like, so just wanting someone, if they jumped in and they haven't been doing those things, to get those strategies, to get those tech resources and say, we're like here in my district, we're like 7 weeks away. And so to me, every day is work. Like, even if we're 7 weeks out, if you start tomorrow with the resource that you learned, okay. If you start tomorrow with the strategy, okay. If you haven't been going over vocabulary, if you haven't been going over high level questioning and you've been keeping it kind of basic, you still have some weeks. Use that 7 weeks because if you don't do it, they're less confident. But even if they're not where you want them to be in 7 weeks, they're closer than they were today. So that's what I really want people to get, leave away with. like, what more can I do? Because that's what teachers are. We're just people that are like, what more can I do? What more can I do? And so if you have been doing all of those things, maybe you learned a new resource, maybe you learned a new strategy, or something as simple as taking back family night. Maybe you're doing everything else right, but you haven't involved the parent. If you can just take one thing away that'll help your kids and their families be more comfortable when they walk in that building that day, it was all worth it.
Oh, I love that mantra. Like, better today than you were yesterday, better tomorrow than you were today. Yeah. Even if it's just this much, people, just this much is enough. Find something.
That is the teach better way. And I tell people all the time, like in different aspects, like I have this constant struggle with trying to lose like 15 pounds, and I celebrate every pound. Like I don't beat myself up about it. I'm like, okay, 1 pound. Okay. I may not be where I need to be, but I'm better than I used to be. And so that's the same thing with your students. You may not be where, you know, in your brain, you're like, you're nowhere where I want you to be, but are you better than you were yesterday? And then 7 weeks from now, if we keep making progress, just little progress every day, then you're better than you were 7 weeks ago. And so I'll take that. I'll take that as a win.
Absolutely. So, Sloan, I know that everyone is going to go back to this Twitter chat. They're going to search hashtag teach better, yep. Or I'm sorry, hashtag mastery chat. Sorry. If they go to the Teach Better account, you'll be able to see all the tweets there. Yeah. And they're going to read back through all these tips. There were so many good questions, so many good strategies.
Thank you.
Good, like teachers voicing concerns and trying to be constructive. So I think that is just so wonderful. We so appreciate that you're able to join us for this. And before we go, I would love to kind of highlight, you are a part of our speakers network. You have so many different sessions and workshops and things that you provide educators around the country. Would you mind picking like one of your favorite trainings that you offer educators that maybe someone listening is looking for, you know, a conference session or a webinar, and you could be a perfect fit?
I think the one that everyone enjoys the most is a set called Slay the Day and a digital classroom. I think the whole, you know, being one-to-one is very popular in our country now. But these devices are supposed to help. And a lot of times, if they're not rolled out the right way, or you don't have certain expectations in place, then it becomes a hindrance. And it's like, I want to use technology, but it causes so much disruption and they're not on task. Forget it. I'm not going to do it. And then that's wasted resources, and you're not preparing kids for their reality. So this session is a session that talks about communicating with parents, setting your expectations, how do you connect technology to make sure that the standards get the shine and not the tool. It talks about just simple things like the layout of your room and free resources and also free incentives and rewards for students so that you're not breaking the bank, because we're teachers, so we don't make a lot of money. And then also your lesson planning, how, you know, using technology or implementing technology into your lesson. How do you do that? Does it amplify and accelerate learning? And if it doesn't, let's look at, is it the right tool and the right time to roll that out? And then also a reflection piece. Like after you've communicated with the parents and the students and you've had this great lesson and the layout was great and everything was fabulous, what do you do next? You've got to go back and you got to reflect on some things. And so it's just from beginning to end, from August to June, what do you do to make sure that using technology is effective and it's efficient and that you're getting the most bang for your buck? So I think that's the one that everyone likes a lot. And like I said, we learn a little bit and we laugh a little bit, and hopefully people leave and they're inspired and they go back and they're using technology and really preparing kids for their current reality and their future.
Well, I know that is a great topic. I love the work that you're doing. I know I speak for the entire team when I say we're huge advocates for the message and the power that you have to reach teachers. And so we're so appreciative that you're not only a part of our network, but that you also hosted Mastery Chat, because there's just so much excellence. You just ooze out of people. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
For everybody listening, please go connect with Sloan Joseph on Twitter. You have an Instagram. You got to go subscribe to your podcast, all the things. And you can also connect with everything she's doing with the Teach Better Speakers Network at teachbetter.com/speakers network. You can get it right off our homepage. So again, Sloan, thank you again so much. We really appreciate your time, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.
You too. Bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
See ya.